The fluorescent lights of the university library hummed, casting a sterile glow over the rows of books and the hushed, intense faces of students. It was a familiar scene, one that had become a second home during my academic career, but never more so than in the semester I met Sarah. Our paths crossed in a notoriously challenging research seminar, a class that demanded not just intellectual rigor but also a significant amount of collaborative effort. We were assigned to the same team for the culminating project, a monumental research paper and presentation that accounted for a staggering 60% of our final grade. From the outset, Sarah seemed like a godsend. She was bright, articulate, and possessed an almost intimidating level of confidence. Her ideas flowed effortlessly, and she had a knack for organization that I, prone to creative chaos, deeply admired. We clicked instantly, or so I thought. Our initial meetings were filled with excited brainstorming, late-night coffee runs fueled by shared ambition, and the kind of easy laughter that makes you believe you found a kindred spirit. We talked about everything, our dreams, our fears, the petty dramas of campus life. I opened up to her in a way I hadn't to many others, sharing vulnerabilities and aspirations, believing she was a safe harbor in the turbulent waters of university life. The project itself was a beast, requiring weeks of intensive research, data analysis, and meticulous writing. We decided to tackle a complex socio-economic issue, a topic we were both passionate about, and the early stages of our collaboration were genuinely productive. We spent countless hours together, hunched over laptops in quiet corners of the library, debating methodologies, refining arguments, and sifting through mountains of academic journals. Sarah was undeniably intelligent, and her contributions were significant. She pushed me to think more critically, to articulate my points with greater precision, and to refine my research skills. I, in turn, helped her with the more creative aspects, the narrative flow, and the presentation design, areas where I felt I excelled. It felt like a perfect partnership, a synergistic blend of our strengths. I remember feeling a profound sense of relief and gratitude that I had been paired with someone so capable and seemingly dedicated. We envisioned not just a good grade, but a truly impactful piece of work, something we could both be proud of, perhaps even present at a student conference. The stakes were high, the workload immense, but with Sarah by my side, I felt invincible, ready to conquer any academic challenge. This shared endeavor, this intense period of collaboration, cemented what I believed was a deep and unshakable bond of friendship. I saw her not just as a teammate, but as a genuine friend, someone I could rely on, someone who had my back. Little did I know, the foundation of this seemingly strong alliance was built on shifting sand, and the very person I trusted most would soon become the architect of my deepest academic and personal nightmare. The signs, subtle at first, were there, but in my naive optimism, I chose to overlook them, blinded by the promise of shared success and what I mistook for genuine camaraderie. As the weeks progressed, our collaboration intensified, and so too, I believed, did our friendship. We started spending time together outside of the library, grabbing meals, sharing late-night study breaks that morphed into conversations about our lives beyond academia. Sarah was incredibly engaging. She had a way of making you feel like the most interesting person in the room, listening intently, offering thoughtful advice, and sharing her own experiences with an openness that felt disarmingly genuine. I confided in her about my anxieties regarding post-graduation plans, my family dynamics, even a budding romantic interest. She reciprocated, sharing stories about her own family, her past relationships, and her ambitious career aspirations. It felt like a true reciprocal bond, a rare find in the often superficial world of university friendships. I admired her drive, her unwavering focus on her goals, and her seemingly boundless energy. She was the kind of person who seemed to have it all figured out, and I found myself looking up to her, seeking her validation and approval. However, amidst this blossoming camaraderie, there were subtle dissonances, faint notes of discord that I, in my eagerness for a deep connection, chose to rationalize away. Sarah had a competitive streak that sometimes bordered on ruthless. I noticed it first in how she interacted with other classmates, a subtle dismissiveness when someone else offered a good idea, or a tendency to subtly redirect conversations back to her own achievements. With me, it manifested differently. Sometimes, during our brainstorming sessions, if I proposed an idea that was particularly strong, she'd initially dismiss it, only to reintroduce it later as her own, slightly rephrased. Or, if I completed a particularly challenging section of our research, she'd offer a backhanded compliment, something like, "That's surprisingly good for you." Or, "I knew if I pushed you hard enough, you'd get there." At the time, I brushed these off as quirks, perhaps a manifestation of her high standards, or maybe even a playful competitiveness between friends. I told myself she was just pushing me to be better, that her bluntness was a sign of honesty, not malice. The closer we got to the deadline, the more pronounced these subtle shifts became. The project, which had once been a shared burden, began to feel increasingly like a competition, at least from her side. She started taking more control, dictating our work schedule, assigning tasks with less discussion, and subtly undermining my contributions in front of our professor during check-ins. She'd frame my work as needing her oversight or benefiting from her final polish, even when I had spent days meticulously crafting it. My initial admiration for her assertiveness slowly began to morph into a quiet unease. The collaborative spirit we had started with seemed to be eroding, replaced by a hierarchy where she was clearly positioning herself at the top. Yet, the thought of confronting her felt daunting. We were so deep into the project, so intertwined, and the deadline loomed large. I couldn't risk jeopardizing our grade, and more importantly, I couldn't bear the thought of shattering what I believed was a genuine friendship. I kept telling myself it was the pressure of finals, the stress making us both a little edgy. I clung to the idea that our bond was stronger than these fleeting moments of friction, that once the project was over, things would return to the easy, supportive dynamic we had initially shared. I was so wrong. The pressure wasn't making her edgy, it was revealing her true nature, a nature that was about to unleash a storm I was completely unprepared for. The final stretch of the semester was a blur of caffeine-fueled nights and relentless academic pressure. Our major research project, the culmination of a month of intense work, was due in just 4 days. This wasn't just any assignment, it was a behemoth, a comprehensive analysis that required not only meticulous research but also a significant amount of data processing and a polished, professional presentation. Sarah and I had poured countless hours into it, meticulously building our arguments, refining our datasets, and crafting what we believed would be a groundbreaking piece of academic work. We had shared documents, collaborated on spreadsheets, and exchanged hundreds of emails, each one a testament to our shared commitment. Our entire project, every single piece of data, every draft, every meticulously cited source, was stored in a shared cloud folder, a digital repository of our combined efforts. We had even taken the extra step of backing up critical components on individual hard drives, a measure of caution that, ironically, would later prove to be both a blessing and a curse. The atmosphere in the university during finals week was always palpable with stress, a collective hum of anxiety that permeated every corner of the campus. Students walked around with glazed eyes, clutching textbooks and coffee cups like lifelines. For me, the pressure was amplified by the sheer weight of this particular project. My entire academic standing for the semester hinged on its success. I had sacrificed social events, sleep, and even my own well-being to ensure my contribution was flawless. Sarah, too, seemed to be feeling the strain, though she masked it better, her usual confident demeanor occasionally cracking to reveal a flicker of intense frustration. We were in constant communication, refining the presentation, practicing our delivery, and making last-minute tweaks to the paper. The finish line was in sight, and despite the lingering unease about Sarah's increasingly controlling behavior, I was focused on the shared goal, delivering an exceptional project and securing the high grade we both desperately needed. Then, the unthinkable happened. It was a Tuesday evening, just 4 days before the project was due, and I was in the midst of reviewing our final draft, making sure all the citations were perfectly formatted. I reached out to access our shared project folder, expecting to see the familiar directory of files, the culmination of our month-long labor. Instead, I was met with an error message, "Access denied." My heart lurched. I tried again, thinking it was a temporary glitch, a network issue. Still, access denied. A cold dread began to creep in. I checked my email, thinking perhaps Sarah had accidentally changed the sharing settings. Nothing. I tried calling her, but it went straight to voicemail. I texted, asking if she had done something to the folder. No reply. Panic began to set in, a cold, suffocating wave that threatened to engulf me. This wasn't just a minor inconvenience. This was catastrophic. Every single piece of our collaborative work, the very foundation of our project, was suddenly inaccessible. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. Had she accidentally deleted it? No, that seemed impossible. Had she changed the permissions? But why? Why wouldn't she tell me? The more I tried to rationalize it, the more a terrifying realization began to dawn on me. This wasn't an accident. This was deliberate. The subtle shifts in her behavior, the increasing control, the veiled criticisms, they all coalesced into a chilling picture. Sarah had removed me from the team. She had cut me off, leaving me stranded, just days before the most critical deadline of the semester. The betrayal was a physical blow, a sharp, searing pain that eclipsed the academic panic. It wasn't just about the project anymore. It was about the shattering of trust, the brutal realization that the person I had considered a friend, a confidant, had orchestrated a calculated act of sabotage. The world seemed to tilt on its axis, and I was left reeling, staring at an empty screen. My entire semester's work vanished into the digital ether. The silence from Sarah was deafening, a stark confirmation of her malicious intent. My future, my academic standing, everything felt like it was crumbling around me. The initial shock quickly morphed into a frantic scramble. My mind, usually organized and analytical, was a chaotic mess of fear and disbelief. Access denied. The words seared into my brain, a constant, mocking reminder of my predicament. I tried everything I could think of, checking different browsers, restarting my computer, even calling the university's IT help desk, though I knew deep down they wouldn't be able to help with a deliberate act of sabotage. The clock was ticking, each passing minute amplifying the crushing weight of the impending deadline. 4 days. 4 days to somehow resurrect a month's worth of intensive research, data analysis, and meticulous writing. It felt utterly impossible. My stomach churned with a nauseating mix of panic and righteous indignation. How could someone do this? How could Sarah, the person I had shared so much with, the person I had trusted implicitly, commit such a cruel and calculated act of betrayal? My first instinct, once the initial wave of despair subsided, was to confront her. I tried calling her again, multiple times, but my calls went straight to voicemail. I sent a barrage of texts, increasingly desperate and accusatory, demanding an explanation, begging her to restore access. Each unanswered message was like a fresh stab, confirming her deliberate intent. The silence was deafening, a stark testament to her cold-heartedness. It was clear she had no intention of responding, no intention of offering an explanation or a reprieve. She had simply cut me off, leaving me to drown. The realization hardened something inside me. The tears that had threatened to fall were replaced by a simmering anger, a resolve born out of desperation. I couldn't afford to wallow in self-pity or anger. I had to act, and I had to act fast. My thoughts immediately turned to Professor Davies. He was a stern but fair man, known for his high academic standards but also for his genuine concern for his students' well-being. He was the only person who could possibly help me navigate this impossible situation. My hands trembled as I typed out an email, trying to maintain a semblance of calm and professionalism despite the chaos raging within me. I briefly explained the situation, omitting the emotional details of betrayal for now, focusing instead on the objective facts. I have been unexpectedly removed from my research team and no longer have access to our shared project files, with the deadline in 4 days. I attached screenshots of the access denied message as proof. I hit send, a desperate prayer accompanying the click of the mouse. The wait for his reply felt like an eternity, each second stretching into an agonizing minute. Finally, an email notification pinged. My heart leaped into my throat. It was from Professor Davies. I opened it with a mixture of dread and hope. His response was swift and, to my immense relief, surprisingly understanding. He didn't question my account, didn't accuse me of exaggeration. He simply stated, "I understand this is a highly stressful situation, especially during finals week. Please come to my office first thing tomorrow morning. before my scheduled office hours. We will discuss a solution. The relief that washed over me was immense, a tidal wave that momentarily pushed back the panic. It wasn't a solution yet, but it was a lifeline, a glimmer of hope in what had felt like an insurmountable crisis. I still had no idea how I would pull this off, how I would salvage my grade, but at least I wasn't entirely alone. Professor Davies's prompt and empathetic response was the first step towards reclaiming control from the chaos Sarah had unleashed. It was a small victory, but in that moment of profound vulnerability, it felt like everything. I knew I had to prepare myself, gather any scraps of data I had, and present my case clearly and concisely. The battle wasn't over, but at least now I had an ally. The walk to Professor Davies's office the next morning felt like a march to judgment. My mind replayed the events of the previous night, the cold, hard reality of Sarah's betrayal settling deeper into my bones. Despite Professor Davies's reassuring email, a knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. What if he didn't believe me? What if he thought I was exaggerating, or worse, trying to shirk my responsibilities? I clutched my laptop bag, inside of which was a portable hard drive containing the only remnants of my work, some early drafts, a few raw datasets, and a scattering of notes I had saved locally. It was a fraction of what we had compiled, but it was all I had. Professor Davies's office was a sanctuary of academic order, lined with towering bookshelves overflowing with dense tomes. He sat behind a large, mahogany desk, his expression unreadable as I entered. He gestured for me to sit, and the silence stretched, heavy with unspoken tension. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my voice, and began to explain. I recounted the timeline of our collaboration, emphasizing the month of dedicated work we had put in. I detailed the shared cloud folder, the hundreds of documents, the intricate data analysis. Then, I explained the abrupt access denied message, the unanswered calls and texts, and the chilling realization that I had been deliberately cut off. I presented the screenshots, the irrefutable digital evidence of my exclusion. I tried to keep my tone factual, devoid of the raw emotion that still threatened to overwhelm me, focusing on the logistical impossibility of completing such a massive project alone in 4 days. Professor Davies listened intently, his gaze unwavering, occasionally nodding slowly. He didn't interrupt, didn't ask leading questions. When I finished, the silence returned, thick and expectant. My heart hammered against my ribs. Finally, he leaned back in his chair, a thoughtful expression on his face. "I see," he said, his voice calm, almost surprisingly so. "This is a serious matter. I've had dealings with Ms. Sarah's last name before. She's a very ambitious student." His words, though measured, carried a subtle implication, a hint that this wasn't entirely out of character for Sarah. This small acknowledgement, this subtle validation, was a huge relief. He believed me. Then, he outlined a solution, one that was far more generous and understanding than I could have ever hoped for. "Given the circumstances," he began, "and your demonstrated commitment to the project thus far, I will not allow this to impact your academic standing negatively." My breath hitched. He continued, "I will assign you an alternative project. It will be a shorter, focused research paper, drawing on the initial research you've already conducted, but with a significantly reduced scope. You will have an extended deadline, an additional week from today, to complete it." He paused, then added, "And to ensure there are no repercussions on your transcript, I will make a note of the situation in your file, should any questions arise regarding your grade in this course." I was stunned. It was an incredible reprieve, a lifeline thrown to me just as I was about to go under. The weight that had been pressing down on me for the past 12 hours began to lift. "Thank you, Professor," I managed, my voice thick with emotion. "Thank you so much." He simply nodded, a slight, almost imperceptible smile touching his lips. "You've shown initiative and resilience in a difficult situation. That counts for a lot." He then outlined the parameters of the new project, providing me with clear guidelines and reassuring me that he would be available for any questions. As I left his office, a profound sense of relief washed over me, but it was quickly followed by a surge of something else, a quiet, burning resolve. Sarah had tried to destroy me, to derail my academic career. But she had failed. And now, armed with a second chance and a newfound sense of clarity, I knew it was time for her to face the consequences of her actions. The game wasn't over, it had just entered a new, more personal phase. Walking out of Professor Davies's office, the weight of academic dread had been lifted, replaced by an unfamiliar lightness. The extended deadline and the simplified project were a godsend, a testament to Professor Davies's understanding and fairness. But beneath the relief, a new emotion began to simmer, a cold, hard resolve. Sarah had played a dangerous game, one that could have irrevocably damaged my academic future. She had underestimated me, assuming I would simply crumble under the pressure. She was wrong. The immediate crisis was averted, but the sting of her betrayal remained, a deep wound that demanded more than just personal healing. It demanded justice. My mind, no longer clouded by panic, began to clear, focusing with chilling precision on the details of our shared project. I remembered the shared cloud folder, the one she had so cruelly locked me out of. But I also remembered something else, something she had likely forgotten or dismissed as insignificant. Early in the project, out of an abundance of caution and a habit I'd picked up from a previous tech-savvy roommate, I had created a local backup. Not of the entire, ever-evolving project, but of the core datasets, the foundational research, and the initial drafts of our literature review. It was a snapshot from about 2 weeks prior, a significant portion of our work, meticulously organized and stored on a portable hard drive. I had done it purely for redundancy, a safety net against accidental deletions or network failures. I had never imagined it would become a weapon. I rushed back to my dorm room, my heart pounding with a different kind of anticipation now. I pulled out the external hard drive, connected it to my laptop, and navigated through the folders. There it was, Research Project, backup the 15th of October 2023. Inside, a treasure trove of Sarah's contributions, along with my own. Raw data, meticulously cleaned and organized by her. Her detailed notes on specific methodologies. Her initial drafts of several key sections. All of it, essential to the project's completion. All of it now residing on my personal drive, completely outside of her control. A slow, satisfying smile spread across my face. She thought she had all the power, that by removing me from the shared drive, she had effectively crippled me and secured sole ownership of our joint effort. She had forgotten about the digital breadcrumbs, the copies I had made. The thought of what I could do with this data, what I should do, began to solidify. The initial impulse was pure, unadulterated revenge. She had left me in a bind, I could leave her in a worse one. The idea was simple, elegant in its brutality. Delete her essential project data. Not just from my backup, but from her access. But how? She had locked me out of the shared drive. Then it hit me. The university's campus network. We often used shared computers in the library or labs for collaborative work, and sometimes, in our haste, we'd forget to log out of specific applications or cloud services. It was a long shot, but it was a possibility. A cold determination settled over me. This wasn't just about anger. It was about ensuring that those who cause harm don't get away with it. Sarah's actions were not just an academic betrayal. They were a personal one, a calculated attempt to destroy my hard work and my peace of mind. She had shown no remorse, no hesitation. And now, it was her turn to face the consequences. The plan began to form, a precise, methodical counterstrike. It wouldn't be impulsive, it would be deliberate, mirroring the cold calculation she had shown me. The first step was to confirm my access to her data, and then, to execute the digital equivalent of an academic scorched earth policy. The game was indeed on, and I was no longer just a player. I was the one holding the decisive cards. My heart hammered with a mixture of apprehension and grim satisfaction as I walked towards the university library. It was late afternoon, the building still bustling with students, but I felt a singular focus, a cold determination that cut through the usual campus chatter. My target, one of the public computer labs, specifically the ones Sarah and I had frequently used for our collaborative work. It was a long shot, a desperate hope that she might have been careless, but it was a chance I was willing to take. I remembered a particular row of computers near the back, often less crowded, where we had spent many late nights hunched over our screens. I found an available computer in that familiar row and sat down, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. My mind raced, recalling every detail of our shared digital habits. We had often logged into our university cloud storage accounts, our shared Google Drive, and even specific research databases. The hope was that in her haste or overconfidence, she might have left an active session logged in, or perhaps saved a password on a browser that she frequently used. It was a long shot, but sometimes, in the chaos of finals week, even the most meticulous people made mistakes. I started by checking the browser history, a common first step for any digital forensics. Nothing immediately obvious. Then, I tried to access the university's shared drive portal. It prompted for a login. Disappointment flickered. But then, I remembered something else. Sarah had a habit of using the Remember Me function on certain applications, especially if she was working on a public computer she assumed was secure or would be quickly logged out of by the system. I navigated to the specific cloud storage application we used for our project, the one she had removed me from. I clicked the login button, half expecting to be met with the usual prompt for credentials. To my astonishment, the page loaded directly into her account. My breath hitched. She had forgotten to log out. Or perhaps, the system hadn't automatically logged her out after a period of inactivity. Whatever the reason, I had access. Full, unrestricted access to her cloud storage, including the very folder she had locked me out of. A surge of adrenaline coursed through me, a potent mix of triumph and a chilling sense of power. There it was, our project folder, brimming with weeks of meticulously compiled data. Her data. My data. Now, all of it, under my control. I opened the folder, the contents laid bare before me. Every single file, every spreadsheet, every draft of the research paper, every presentation slide. It was all there, pristine and perfectly organized. My eyes scanned the file names, recognizing the hours of work, the intellectual effort, the sheer dedication that had gone into each one. And then, with a cold, deliberate hand, I began. I didn't hesitate. I didn't feel a flicker of remorse. She had shown me none. I selected the most critical files first, the master datasets, the final drafts of the research paper, the meticulously crafted presentation. These were the irreplaceable components, the ones that would take countless hours to reconstruct. With a steady finger, I clicked delete. A confirmation box popped up. Are you sure you want to permanently delete these files? I clicked yes, without a second thought. Then I moved on to the next batch, and the next. I systematically went through the entire folder, deleting everything that was essential, everything that would cripple her ability to submit the project on time. I left behind only the most trivial files, perhaps a few early brainstorming notes or a stray image, just enough to make it look like an accidental, catastrophic data loss, rather than a targeted attack. The process was quick, efficient, and chillingly satisfying. Each click of the delete button felt like a small act of justice, a direct response to the panic and despair she had inflicted upon me. When I was done, the folder was a barren wasteland, a digital graveyard of her academic ambitions. I then made sure to log out of her account, clearing the browser history and any cached data, leaving no trace of my presence. I stood up from the computer, my legs feeling a little shaky, but my resolve solidified. The first part of my retribution was complete. Sarah had thought she was untouchable. She was about to learn just how wrong she was. The digital bind I had left her in was just the beginning. Leaving the library, I felt a strange mix of exhilaration and a profound sense of calm. The immediate, visceral act of digital retribution had been executed with a precision that surprised even myself. The image of that empty folder, stripped bare of all essential data, replayed in my mind like a satisfying movie scene. I knew the chaos it would unleash on Sarah, the panic she would feel, the desperate scramble she would undertake, mirroring the very torment she had inflicted upon me. It was a sweet, albeit cold, victory. But it wasn't enough. My anger, though momentarily sated by the digital scorched earth, still burned. The betrayal wasn't just academic, it was deeply personal. Sarah had weaponized our friendship, used my trust against me. And for that, there was another layer of retribution to be exacted. My thoughts turned to Mark. Mark was Sarah's boyfriend, and also, crucially, a mutual friend. We had met through Sarah, but over the past semester, we had developed our own independent friendship. Mark was a genuinely good guy, kind, earnest, and fiercely loyal. He was also completely smitten with Sarah, often blind to her more manipulative tendencies, which I had begun to notice but never voiced, out of respect for their relationship and my supposed friendship with her. He was a constant presence in our study sessions, often bringing us coffee or snacks, always supportive and encouraging. He had seen our collaboration unfold, had witnessed the countless hours we'd put in. He was, in a way, an unwitting witness to her deception. The idea of involving Mark had been simmering since the moment I realized Sarah's betrayal. It felt like a natural extension of the retribution, a way to expose her true character to someone who deserved to know. Sarah had cultivated an image of perfection, of being the ideal girlfriend, the brilliant student, the loyal friend. Mark deserved to know the truth about the person he was so devoted to. This wasn't about petty gossip, it was about revealing a fundamental flaw in her character, a willingness to ruthlessly exploit and discard people for her own gain. I knew I had to approach this carefully. Mark was loyal, and a direct accusation might just make him defensive. I needed to present the facts, calmly and clearly, letting him draw his own conclusions. I decided against a text or a call. This needed to be face-to-face, where I could gauge his reaction and ensure he understood the gravity of the situation. I knew Mark had a study group that met regularly in the student union building. I checked his usual schedule and decided to intercept him there, after his group dispersed. The waiting was agonizing. I rehearsed my words in my head, trying to find the right balance between conveying the depth of Sarah's betrayal and avoiding sounding like a vengeful ex-friend. I wanted him to see the pattern, to understand that if she could do this to me, she could do it to anyone, even him. When I finally saw him emerge from the student union, looking tired but amiable, my heart pounded. This was it. This was the moment I would lay bare the truth, not just about the project, but about the person he thought he knew. The digital strike was satisfying, but this felt like the true unraveling of Sarah's carefully constructed world. This was the final, devastating blow. I approached Mark as he was packing up his bag, his brow furrowed in concentration over a textbook. He looked up, a tired but friendly smile spreading across his face. "Hey, what's up? Everything okay with the project?" he asked, his voice genuinely concerned. The question, so innocent, felt like a punch to the gut, a stark reminder of the facade Sarah had maintained. I took a deep breath, steeling myself. "Mark, can we talk? Somewhere private." My tone must have conveyed the seriousness of the situation, because his smile faltered, replaced by a look of immediate concern. "Yeah, sure. Is everything all right?" he repeated, his eyes searching mine. We found a relatively quiet corner in the bustling student union, a secluded booth tucked away from the main thoroughfare. The ambient noise of conversations and clattering dishes provided a strange kind of privacy. I sat opposite him, my hands clasped tightly in my lap, trying to maintain a calm exterior while my insides churned. "Mark," I began, my voice low but firm, "I need to tell you something about Sarah. Something important." His expression immediately shifted, a flicker of defensiveness crossing his face. "What about Sarah? Is she okay?" he asked, his loyalty already kicking in. I knew this would be the hardest part, breaking through his preconceived notions of her. "She's fine, physically," I clarified. "But what she did, it's not okay. And you deserve to know." I started from the beginning, recounting the entire story, meticulously laying out the facts. I explained how we had worked together for a month, building the project from the ground up, how I had trusted her completely. I described the shared cloud folder, the countless hours, the mutual effort. Then, I detailed the abrupt access denied message, the radio silence from her, the panic of realizing she had deliberately cut me off just 4 days before the deadline. I showed him the screenshots of the error message on my phone, concrete proof of my exclusion. I explained how Professor Davies had to intervene, giving me an alternative project and an extended deadline due to the severity of the situation. I emphasized the mental distress, the sheer terror of thinking my entire semester was ruined. As I spoke, Mark's initial defensiveness slowly morphed into disbelief, then confusion, and finally, a dawning horror. His eyes widened, and he ran a hand through his hair, a gesture of profound distress. Sarah did that. She just cut you out? Without a word? He whispered, his voice laced with shock. But why? That's insane. That's not like her. That's exactly what I thought, I countered gently, until it happened. She didn't just cut me out, Mark. She tried to completely derail my academic career. She tried to make me fail after a month of shared work. I paused, letting the weight of that sink in. And she did it coldly, deliberately. No explanation, no apology, just silence. I didn't mention my own act of digital retribution. That was my secret, my personal justice. This conversation was about her character, not mine. I watched his face as he processed the information, the realization slowly dawning on him that the woman he loved was capable of such calculated cruelty. He looked utterly devastated, his usual cheerful demeanor completely gone. I can't believe it, he murmured, shaking his head. She's been so stressed about the project, but to do something like that. He trailed off, the implications clearly sinking in. The picture he had of Sarah, the perfect, supportive girlfriend, was shattering before his eyes. I could see the wheels turning in his mind, the re-evaluation of past interactions, the subtle hints he might have missed. The seeds of doubt, once planted, would grow quickly. I had done what I set out to do, expose her not just to the academic consequences she would face, but to the personal ones that would truly sting. The truth, finally, was out. The conversation with Mark was difficult, emotionally draining, but absolutely necessary. I watched as his face crumpled, the realization of Sarah's true nature hitting him like a physical blow. He didn't immediately jump to her defense, which was a small victory in itself. Instead, he sat there, stunned, processing the information I had laid out. He asked a few more questions, mostly logistical ones about the project and Professor Davies's intervention, trying to grasp the full scope of her actions. Each answer I gave seemed to deepen the lines of worry on his face, reinforcing the undeniable truth of her betrayal. I don't understand, he kept repeating, almost to himself. Why would she do something so vindictive? I didn't offer an explanation, didn't speculate on Sarah's motives. I simply reiterated the facts, letting them speak for themselves. I don't know, Mark, I said, my voice quiet. All I know is what happened. And it was a deliberate attempt to sabotage my work, to make me fail. I could see the internal struggle playing out on his face, the loyalty to his girlfriend battling with the undeniable evidence of her cruelty. He was a good person, and this kind of calculated malice was clearly alien to him. We sat in silence for a few more minutes, the weight of the revelation hanging heavy between us. Finally, he pushed back from the table, a look of grim determination replacing his earlier shock. I need to talk to her, he said, his voice low and strained. I need to understand what happened. This isn't the Sarah I thought I knew. I simply nodded. My part was done. I had planted the seed of doubt, presented the undeniable facts. The rest was up to him. I didn't want to manipulate him, just inform him. He deserved the truth. Over the next few days, I kept a low profile, focusing on my revised project for Professor Davies. The relief of having an extended deadline and a manageable workload was immense, allowing me to channel my energy into productive work rather than frantic damage control. I didn't hear directly from Mark, nor did I expect to. I imagined the conversations that must be taking place between him and Sarah, the accusations, the denials, the inevitable unraveling. I didn't seek out news, but the campus grapevine, as it always does, began to hum. Whispers started circulating. First, it was just vague rumors about drama in our research seminar. Then, more specific details emerged. Sarah, apparently, was in a bind with her project. She was reportedly struggling to submit her work, facing significant challenges with her data and presentation. The irony was not lost on me. While I was calmly working on my streamlined alternative, she was likely scrambling, trying to reconstruct what she had so carelessly destroyed for me, now missing for herself. The universe, it seemed, had a way of balancing the scales. Then, about a week after my conversation with Mark, The news hit me directly. A mutual friend, unaware of my involvement, casually mentioned it. "Did you hear about Mark and Sarah? They broke up." My heart gave a small jolt, not of surprise, but of a quiet, profound satisfaction. "Really?" I asked, feigning casual interest. "What happened?" The friend shrugged. "No one knows for sure, but Mark looked pretty upset. Said something about not being able to trust her and seeing her true colors. It was pretty sudden." A small, triumphant smile touched my lips. "Within a week. That was faster than I had anticipated." Mark, true to his character, had confronted her, and the truth, or at least enough of it, had come out. He had seen through her carefully constructed facade, recognized the manipulative actions that had been hidden beneath her charm. The betrayal of a friend, the calculated attempt to ruin someone's academic future, had been enough to shatter his trust and end their relationship. It felt good. Not in a malicious, gloating way, but in a deeply satisfying sense of justice. Sarah had caused me significant mental distress, tried to sabotage my entire semester, and had done so with cold indifference. She had believed she could get away with it, that her actions would have no repercussions. But they did. She lost her boyfriend, a good man who genuinely cared for her, and she was undoubtedly facing immense academic pressure, struggling with a project that was now missing crucial components. The scales had been balanced. Those who cause harm, I reaffirmed to myself, don't always get away with it. Sometimes, the universe, with a little help, ensures they face the consequences of their actions. The chapter with Sarah was finally closed, and I could now move forward, unburdened by her toxic presence, knowing that I had not only survived her attack but had also ensured she faced a reckoning. The aftermath of Sarah's downfall was surprisingly swift and complete. The campus, a small ecosystem of interconnected lives, buzzed with the news of her breakup with Mark. It wasn't just a casual split, it was a noticeable rupture, a public unraveling of a relationship that many had seen as stable and enduring. Mark, usually so open and cheerful, became withdrawn and quiet, his sadness palpable. While he never directly spoke to me about the details of their breakup, his demeanor confirmed that my revelation had indeed struck a fatal blow to his perception of Sarah. He had seen the truth, and he couldn't unsee it. This wasn't just about a project, it was about a fundamental breach of character, a betrayal that extended far beyond the classroom. Academically, Sarah also seemed to be struggling. While I didn't have direct confirmation of her project's fate, the whispers suggested a desperate scramble. I heard rumors of her frantically trying to reconstruct data, of heated arguments with Professor Davies, and of a general air of panic surrounding her. The meticulously organized data she had once possessed, the very data I had quietly erased, was now a gaping void in her project. The irony was a bitter, yet satisfying, taste. She had gambled everything on her ruthlessness, and now she was paying the price. I imagined her late nights, not spent in triumph, but in a desperate, futile attempt to piece together what she had so easily discarded. For my part, I focused on my alternative project. The reduced scope and extended deadline allowed me to work without the crushing pressure of the original assignment. I poured my energy into it, not out of fear, but out of a renewed sense of purpose. Professor Davies was incredibly supportive, offering guidance and feedback, solidifying my belief that I had made the right choice in trusting him. My final grade for the seminar was excellent, a testament to my resilience and his understanding. The academic repercussions Sarah had intended for me had completely backfired, landing squarely on her own shoulders. The experience, while initially devastating, had also been incredibly clarifying. It taught me a harsh but invaluable lesson about trust, about the deceptive nature of appearances, and about the importance of standing up for myself. I had always been someone who avoided conflict, who tried to see the best in people. Sarah had shattered that naive view, forcing me to confront the darker side of human nature. But in doing so, she had also awakened a strength within me I hadn't known I possessed. I had navigated a crisis, found an ally in Professor Davies, and executed a measured, effective retribution. I had ensured that her actions had consequences, not just for herself, but for the carefully constructed image she presented to the world. The campus felt lighter now, the oppressive shadow of Sarah's presence lifting. I no longer felt the constant anxiety of encountering her, of having to navigate her manipulative tendencies. Our paths rarely crossed, and when they did, she would quickly avert her gaze, a flicker of something akin to shame or perhaps just cold recognition in her eyes. I, on the other hand, felt a quiet confidence. I had faced down a bully, survived their attack, and emerged stronger. The entire ordeal served as a powerful reminder that while life can throw unexpected and cruel curveballs, one's own integrity and resilience are the most potent weapons. It felt good to know that I hadn't just been a victim. I had been an agent of change, ensuring that the scales of justice, even in a small, personal way, were balanced. The story of Sarah was a chapter closed, a painful but ultimately empowering lesson learned. I had moved on, stronger, wiser, and with a renewed appreciation for genuine connections, knowing that sometimes the best revenge is simply living well and ensuring that those who cause harm don't get away with it. This was the quiet triumph, the lasting satisfaction that truly mattered. The semester drew to a close, and with it, the lingering tension surrounding the Sarah incident began to dissipate. The finality of grades being posted, the rush of students leaving campus for winter break, all contributed to a sense of closure. My alternative project had been a success, and Professor Davies had indeed ensured my transcript reflected my efforts, not Sarah's sabotage. The academic threat had been neutralized, and I could breathe a sigh of relief, knowing my hard work hadn't been in vain. However, the emotional scars remained, albeit subtly. The experience had fundamentally altered my approach to new friendships and collaborations. I found myself more guarded, more observant of subtle cues, less quick to trust. It wasn't a cynical outlook, but a cautious one, born from the painful lesson that even those who seem most trustworthy can harbor hidden agendas. I became more discerning about who I allowed into my inner circle, prioritizing genuine connection and mutual respect over superficial charm or perceived competence. The betrayal had been a crucible, forging a stronger, more resilient version of myself. Mark, too, seemed to be slowly recovering. We occasionally ran into each other on campus, and our conversations, while still tinged with the awkwardness of the shared secret, were slowly becoming more comfortable. He never explicitly mentioned Sarah or their breakup to me again, but his quiet demeanor spoke volumes. I sensed a profound disappointment in him, a realization that the person he had invested so much in was not who he thought she was. It was a painful lesson for him, too, but one that I hoped would ultimately lead him to healthier, more authentic relationships. His loyalty, once a vulnerability, was now being redirected towards self-preservation and a clearer understanding of character. As for Sarah, her presence on campus seemed to diminish. I rarely saw her in the library or in the common areas we once frequented. Whether she was actively avoiding me, or simply spending more time elsewhere, I couldn't say. But the absence of her imposing presence was a welcome relief. The whispers about her academic struggles continued, though they became less frequent as the semester officially ended. I heard through the grapevine that her final project submission was problematic, and that she had faced significant challenges with her grade in Professor Davies's seminar. While I didn't revel in her misfortune, there was a quiet satisfaction in knowing that her actions had indeed come back to haunt her, professionally and personally. The true victory wasn't just in her downfall, but in my own resilience. I hadn't let her define my academic journey or my emotional well-being. I had taken control of a devastating situation, sought help when needed, and acted decisively when the opportunity arose. I had learned that sometimes justice isn't about grand gestures or public shaming, but about quiet, strategic actions that ensure accountability. It was about reclaiming my power, not just from Sarah, but from the fear and distress she had tried to impose. Looking back, the entire ordeal felt like a turning point. It was a moment where I shed a certain naivety and stepped into a more mature understanding of human relationships and the complexities of navigating betrayal. It was a reminder that while kindness is important, so too is the ability to protect oneself and to ensure that malicious actions do not go unaddressed. The experience, though painful, had ultimately made me stronger, more discerning, and more confident in my ability to handle adversity. The memory of Sarah's cold betrayal would always be there, a stark reminder, but it was no longer a source of pain. Instead, it was a testament to my own strength and the satisfying knowledge that, in this instance, justice had indeed been served. The story, in a way, became a quiet triumph of resilience over calculated cruelty. The new semester brought with it a fresh start, a clean slate that felt almost palpable. The air on campus seemed lighter, unburdened by the academic anxieties of finals and the lingering shadow of Sarah's betrayal. I embraced the change, enrolling in new classes, joining different study groups, and consciously seeking out positive, supportive environments. The lessons learned from the previous semester, though hard won, had equipped me with a sharper intuition and a stronger sense of self-preservation. I was no longer the naive student who had blindly trusted a charming but ultimately manipulative individual. My interactions with Mark slowly but surely returned to a more comfortable rhythm. The initial awkwardness faded, replaced by the easy camaraderie we had shared before the Sarah incident. We'd grab coffee, discuss classes, and occasionally commiserate about the challenges of university life. He never brought up Sarah, and neither did I, but there was an unspoken understanding between us, a shared knowledge of the truth that had irrevocably altered his perception of her. His trust in me, I sensed, had deepened, forged in the crucible of shared experience and the honesty I had shown him. It was a friendship that felt genuine and earned, a stark contrast to the superficiality of my past bond with Sarah. I also noticed a subtle shift in how Professor Davies interacted with me. He would often offer a warm smile, a knowing nod, or a brief, encouraging word when our paths crossed. It wasn't overt, but it conveyed a quiet respect, an acknowledgement of my resilience and integrity. Knowing that he had seen through Sarah's machinations and had supported me unequivocally was a source of immense comfort and validation. It reinforced my belief that there were indeed good, principled people in the world, willing to stand up for what was right, even in the face of academic politics or personal drama. The academic landscape continued to be challenging, but I approached it with a newfound confidence. The fear of failure, which Sarah had tried to weaponize against me, no longer held the same power. I knew I could navigate difficult situations, that I could advocate for myself, and that I had the inner strength to overcome obstacles. This newfound resilience wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving. I found myself taking on more challenging coursework, participating more actively in discussions, and even considering research opportunities that I might have shied away from before. The experience, though painful, had unexpectedly broadened my horizons and strengthened my academic resolve. As for Sarah, she became a ghost on campus. Her name was rarely mentioned, and when it was often in hushed tones, associated with vague rumors of academic difficulties or personal troubles. I never saw her again in any of my classes, nor did I hear of her participating in any of the prominent student organizations she once dominated. It seemed her carefully constructed world had indeed crumbled, and she had retreated from the public eye. The satisfaction wasn't in her suffering, but in the quiet confirmation that her actions had led to tangible consequences. She hadn't gotten away with it. Life moved forward, and the memory of the betrayal, while still a part of my personal history, no longer held the same emotional grip. It had transformed from a raw wound into a valuable lesson, a reminder of the importance of discernment, integrity, and the quiet power of standing up for oneself. The experience had been a crucible, and I had emerged from it not just intact, but stronger, wiser, and with a clearer understanding of the kind of person I wanted to be, and the kind of people I wanted to surround myself with. The final chapter of that particular story was definitively closed, leaving behind a legacy of resilience and a quiet, enduring sense of justice. The experience with Sarah, though a painful chapter, ultimately became a defining moment in my university life, shaping not only my academic approach but also my personal philosophy. It was a stark lesson in the complexities of human nature, revealing the depths of ambition and the lengths some would go to achieve their goals, even at the expense of others. But more importantly, it was a profound testament to my own strength and the surprising resilience I discovered within myself. Before Sarah, I had been somewhat naive, prone to seeing the best in people and assuming good intentions. The betrayal forced me to develop a more critical eye, to observe actions more closely than words, and to trust my gut instincts when something felt off. This wasn't about becoming cynical, but about becoming discerning. It taught me the crucial skill of setting boundaries, of recognizing red flags, and of understanding that not everyone operates with the same moral compass. This newfound wisdom extended beyond academic collaborations. It influenced my social interactions, my choice of friends, and even my approach to future professional relationships. The support I received from Professor Davies was also a pivotal part of my healing process. His immediate belief in my account, his swift action, and his unwavering support not only saved my academic standing but also restored my faith in authority figures and the possibility of fairness. It showed me that even in moments of profound vulnerability, there are allies who will stand by you, and that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. His quiet validation was a powerful antidote to the gaslighting and isolation Sarah had attempted to inflict. The satisfaction I felt wasn't about revenge in the petty sense, but about the restoration of balance. It was about seeing that manipulative and harmful behavior did not go unpunished. Sarah's actions had caused me genuine distress and could have derailed my academic future. The fact that she faced significant consequences, the loss of a meaningful relationship and academic struggles, provided a sense of equilibrium. It reinforced the idea that integrity, though sometimes challenged, ultimately holds more power than deceit. This wasn't about celebrating her pain, but about affirming that actions have repercussions, and that the universe, in its own way, often ensures a reckoning. As I moved closer to graduation, the memory of Sarah faded further into the background, becoming less of a raw wound and more of a distant, educational anecdote. It was a story I would occasionally recount to close friends, a cautionary tale about the perils of misplaced trust. Each retelling, however, was less about the pain and more about the lessons learned, the strength gained, and the quiet triumph of overcoming adversity. It became a narrative of empowerment, a testament to surviving and thriving in the face of betrayal. The experience ultimately solidified my belief in the importance of authenticity and integrity, both in myself and in others. It taught me that genuine connections are built on honesty and mutual respect, not on manipulation or self-interest. And perhaps most importantly, it instilled in me a deep-seated conviction that while life can be unfair, those who cause harm don't always get away with it. Sometimes, with a little courage and a clear head, you can ensure that justice, in its own quiet way, prevails. This was the enduring legacy of the Sarah saga, a powerful reminder that even from the ashes of betrayal, strength and wisdom can rise. The final year of university was a period of intense reflection and growth. The Sarah incident, once a source of acute stress, had receded into the past, becoming a foundational experience rather than an ongoing wound. It was a constant, subtle reminder that my strength lay not just in my academic abilities, but in my character and resilience. I found myself approaching challenges, both academic and personal, with a newfound confidence, armed with the knowledge that I had navigated a truly difficult situation and emerged stronger. My academic performance continued to excel. I applied for, and was accepted into, several competitive internships, opportunities one might have hesitated to pursue before. The confidence gained from overcoming Sarah's sabotage, coupled with Professor Davies's quiet endorsement, gave me the courage to push my boundaries. I found myself thriving in collaborative environments, but with a more discerning eye. I learned to identify genuine team players from those who sought to exploit, and to contribute my ideas assertively while remaining open to others. The experience had honed my interpersonal skills in an unexpected way, making me a more effective and self-aware collaborator. My friendship with Mark deepened considerably. He became one of my closest confidants, a bond forged not just by shared experiences but by mutual respect and understanding. We often talked about life after graduation, our hopes and fears, and the lessons we had learned about navigating the complexities of relationships. While Sarah's name was rarely, if ever, mentioned, her impact on both our lives was an unspoken undercurrent, a shared understanding of the importance of integrity and the pain of betrayal. He had seen her true colors, and I had helped him see them. That shared truth created an unbreakable bond. The broader campus environment, too, seemed to reflect the shifting tides. Sarah, once a prominent and seemingly untouchable figure, became increasingly marginalized. I heard through various channels that her academic performance had indeed suffered significantly in the aftermath of the project debacle. Her grades had reportedly taken a hit, and her reputation, once pristine, was now tainted by whispers of unethical behavior. She was no longer seen as the brilliant, ambitious student, but as someone whose ambition had crossed a line into ruthlessness. Her social circle seemed to shrink, and the easy popularity she once enjoyed had evaporated. It was a quiet, almost invisible downfall, but a downfall nonetheless. This outcome, while not something I actively sought, brought a profound sense of closure. It wasn't about celebrating her misfortune, but about witnessing the natural consequences of her actions. It affirmed my belief that deceit and manipulation, while they might offer short-term gains, rarely lead to lasting success or genuine respect. The universe, or perhaps just the interconnectedness of human actions, had a way of ensuring that those who caused harm eventually faced a reckoning. As graduation approached, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment, not just for my academic achievements, but for the personal growth I had undergone. The Sarah incident, in its own twisted way, had been a catalyst for that growth. It had forced me to confront adversity, to stand up for myself, and to understand the true meaning of resilience. I was leaving university not just with a degree, but with a deeper understanding of myself, of others, and of the unwavering power of integrity. The story of Sarah was a scar, yes, but a scar that marked a victory, a testament to surviving betrayal and emerging stronger on the other side. It was a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, justice can find a way to prevail, and that personal strength is the most potent form of retribution. Graduation day arrived, a kaleidoscope of caps and gowns, proud families, and the bittersweet realization that a significant chapter of my life was closing. As I walked across the stage to receive my diploma, a wave of emotions washed over me: pride, relief, and a quiet sense of triumph. The memory of that terrifying finals week, the panic, the betrayal, felt distant, almost surreal. It was a stark contrast to the confident, accomplished person I had become. The diploma in my hand wasn't just a symbol of academic achievement. It was a testament to resilience, to overcoming adversity, and to the unwavering belief that I could navigate any challenge life threw my way. My family, who had been a rock of support throughout the entire ordeal, was beaming in the audience. I knew they were proud of my academic success, but I also knew they were proud of how I had handled the situation with Sarah. I had shared the full story with them after the dust had settled, and their unwavering belief in me had been a crucial anchor during those tumultuous times. Their presence at graduation was a silent acknowledgement of the battles fought and won, both inside and outside the classroom. After the ceremony, amidst the joyous chaos of congratulations and farewells, I found myself reflecting on the journey. The Sarah incident, while painful, had been an unexpected gift. It had forced me to confront my own vulnerabilities, to learn to advocate for myself, and to understand the importance of choosing my allies wisely. It had taught me that true strength isn't about never falling, but about getting back up, dusting yourself off, and learning from the experience. It had also solidified my conviction that integrity ultimately triumphs over deceit. I saw Mark in the crowd, celebrating with his own family. Our eyes met, and we exchanged a knowing smile. There was no need for words. The shared understanding of what we had both been through, and how we had both emerged stronger, was palpable. Our friendship, forged in the fires of betrayal, felt more authentic and enduring than many others. It was a connection built on shared truth and mutual respect, a testament to the fact that good can indeed come from difficult circumstances. As for Sarah, she was conspicuously absent from the graduation ceremonies. I didn't see her, nor did I hear any mention of her. It was a quiet, almost poetic, conclusion to her story on campus. Her ambition, once her greatest asset, had become her undoing, leading her down a path of manipulation and isolation. The consequences of her actions had been thorough and far-reaching, extending beyond a single project or a single relationship. She had lost not only a boyfriend and academic standing but also, it seemed, her place within the university community. Leaving campus that day, I carried with me not just a degree, but a profound sense of self-awareness and empowerment. The experience with Sarah had been a crucible, refining my character and solidifying my values. It had taught me that while some people may choose to inflict harm, one has the power to choose their response, to seek justice, and to emerge from adversity not just unscathed, but transformed. The story was a closed chapter, but its lessons would resonate throughout my life, a constant reminder that integrity, resilience, and the quiet pursuit of justice are the most powerful forces of all. The feeling was one of profound peace, a sense of having truly earned this moment of triumph. Life after graduation unfolded with its own set of challenges and triumphs, but the lessons learned from the Sarah incident continued to serve as an invaluable compass. As I navigated the professional world, I found myself instinctively applying the discernment and cautious optimism that had been forged in the crucible of that university betrayal. Networking events, team projects, and new professional relationships all became opportunities to observe, to listen, and to assess character with a more nuanced understanding. I was no longer easily swayed by superficial charm or impressive resumes. I looked for consistency, integrity, and a genuine collaborative spirit. The professional landscape, much like the academic one, had its share of ambitious individuals, some of whom were willing to cut corners or undermine others to get ahead. But armed with my past experience, I was better equipped to identify these patterns early on. I learned to protect my work, to document contributions meticulously, and to build strong, trustworthy alliances. The incident with Sarah had taught me the importance of having allies, of knowing who you can truly count on when the chips are down. This translated into forming genuine connections with colleagues who shared my values, creating a supportive network that was invaluable in a competitive environment. My friendship with Mark continued to flourish, evolving into a deep, lasting bond. We remained in touch regularly, sharing updates on our careers, our personal lives, and the occasional nostalgic laugh about our university days. He had moved on from the pain of his breakup with Sarah, finding a new relationship built on mutual respect and open communication. He often credited our conversation about Sarah with opening his eyes, not just to her character, but to the kind of relationship he truly deserved. Our shared history, particularly the truth about Sarah, became a quiet foundation of our enduring friendship, a testament to the power of honesty and integrity. As the years passed, the memory of Sarah became increasingly faint, a distant echo rather than a vivid recollection. I never heard from her again, nor did I actively seek any information about her life. She simply faded into the background, a cautionary tale from my past. The satisfaction I felt was no longer tied to her misfortune, but to my own continued growth and success. It was the quiet triumph of having moved on, of having built a fulfilling life based on principles of honesty and hard work, rather than manipulation and deceit. The mental distress she had caused during finals week, once so overwhelming, had transformed into a powerful catalyst for personal development. It had taught me about my own resilience, my capacity for self-advocacy, and the importance of ensuring that justice, even in its smallest forms, is served. It instilled in me a deep-seated belief that while bad things can happen, one has the power to choose their response, to fight for what is right, and to emerge from adversity stronger and wiser. This profound realization became a guiding principle in my life. It wasn't about seeking revenge, but about ensuring accountability. It was about understanding that those who cause harm, who act with malice and disregard for others, often face consequences, whether immediate or delayed, visible or invisible. And sometimes, with a little courage and a clear conscience, you can play a part in ensuring those consequences come to fruition. The story of Sarah was a closed book, but its lessons were etched permanently into the fabric of my being, a testament to the enduring power of integrity and the quiet strength found in overcoming betrayal. Years turned into a decade, and the university days, including the dramatic episode with Sarah, became a distant memory, occasionally surfacing during nostalgic conversations or when I encountered similar personality types in my professional life. The raw emotions had long since faded, replaced by a detached analytical understanding of the events. What remained was a profound appreciation for the lessons learned and the strength gained. My career flourished, built on a foundation of hard work, genuine collaboration, and a reputation for integrity. I found myself in leadership positions, where the ability to discern character and foster trust became paramount. The experience with Sarah had inadvertently equipped me with an invaluable skill set, the ability to spot manipulative tendencies, to understand underlying motivations, and to protect my team and myself from individuals who operated without a moral compass. I learned to create environments where transparency and mutual respect were prioritized, ensuring that the kind of sabotage I experienced would be swiftly identified and addressed. My friendship with Mark remained one of the most steadfast relationships in my life. We had both grown, navigated personal milestones, and supported each other through thick and thin. Our shared history, particularly the truth about Sarah, had cemented a bond built on trust and authenticity. We rarely spoke of her directly, but her impact on our understanding of human nature and the importance of genuine connection was an unspoken thread in our enduring friendship. It was a testament to the idea that sometimes the most painful experiences can lead to the most profound and meaningful connections. The concept of justice had also evolved for me. It was no longer about a tit-for-tat retribution, but about the systemic consequences of actions. I understood that Sarah's immediate academic and personal setbacks were just the beginning. A pattern of manipulative behavior, if left unchecked, often leads to a life characterized by unstable relationships, professional stagnation, and a pervasive sense of distrust. While I had no direct knowledge of her life, I felt a quiet certainty that her chosen path of deceit would ultimately limit her in ways that true collaboration and integrity never would. The real revenge, I realized, was living a life of purpose and authenticity, while she likely continued to struggle with the very traits that defined her. The mental distress that had once consumed me during that finals week was now a distant echo, a reminder of how far I had come. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment. As the years continued to pass, the story of Sarah transformed from a personal trauma into a valuable case study, a narrative I occasionally shared with younger colleagues or mentees who were grappling with similar challenges in their own professional or academic lives. It became a cautionary tale, not told with bitterness or anger, but with a detached wisdom, emphasizing the importance of discernment, self-advocacy, and the long-term consequences of unethical behavior. I found that my experience resonated deeply with others, offering comfort and guidance to those who felt blindsided by betrayal. The ability to identify and navigate manipulative personalities became an almost intuitive skill. I could often sense the subtle cues, the slight shifts in demeanor, the veiled self-interest that characterized individuals like Sarah. This foresight allowed me to preemptively protect myself and those I cared about, avoiding similar pitfalls and fostering healthier, more productive relationships. It was a skill born from pain, but wielded with purpose and a desire to create more positive environments. My connection with Professor Davies also remained, albeit indirectly. I would occasionally send him an email update on my career, expressing my continued gratitude for his intervention and support during that critical time. His responses were always warm, reflecting a mutual respect that had deepened over the years. Knowing that I had not only survived but thrived, served as a quiet affirmation of his belief in me. He had been a pivotal figure, a beacon of fairness when I felt lost, and his actions continued to inspire my own commitment to mentorship and supporting others. The concept of getting away with it had also taken on a broader meaning. It wasn't just about immediate repercussions, but about the insidious, long-term erosion of trust and opportunity that manipulative individuals often face. I understood that while Sarah might have achieved some short-term gains through her ruthlessness, true, sustainable success and happiness are built on a foundation of genuine relationships, integrity, and mutual respect, qualities she demonstrably lacked. Her path, I surmised, would likely be one of fleeting successes followed by inevitable isolation, a self-inflicted cycle of distrust. The mental distress that had once consumed me during that finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The passage of time continued to soften the edges of the memory, transforming the sharp sting of betrayal into a dull ache of experience. The narrative of Sarah and the academic sabotage had become less about personal injury and more about the universal themes of trust, resilience, and accountability. It was a story I now viewed with a certain detachment, almost as if it had happened to someone else, a younger, more naive version of myself. This emotional distance was a testament to the profound healing and growth that had occurred over the years. My life had progressed in meaningful ways. I had built a successful career, cultivated deep and authentic relationships, and found a sense of purpose that transcended professional achievements. The foundation of integrity and discernment, laid during that tumultuous university semester, proved to be incredibly robust. It guided my decisions, shaped my interactions, and ensured that my path was one of genuine connection and ethical conduct. I found immense satisfaction in knowing that my success was built on merit and collaboration, not on the exploitation of others. The quiet justice that had unfolded in the immediate aftermath of Sarah's actions continued to resonate. It wasn't about a grand, public spectacle of her downfall, but about the subtle, yet pervasive, consequences that ripple through a life built on deceit. I understood that true retribution wasn't about inflicting pain, but about witnessing the natural erosion of trust and opportunity for those who choose to operate without a moral compass. Sarah's inability to maintain stable relationships, her likely struggles with genuine collaboration, and the constant need to guard her facade would, in themselves, be their own form of perpetual punishment. The mental distress that had once paralyzed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The passage of time continued its relentless march, and with each passing year, the emotional intensity surrounding the Sarah incident diminished further. It became less of a personal wound and more of a historical event, a significant marker in my personal development. The vivid details of the betrayal, the panic, and the subsequent acts of retribution faded into a broader understanding of human nature and the complex interplay of cause and effect. It was a story that had shaped me, but no longer defined me. My life was now rich with genuine connections, built on foundations of trust, mutual respect, and shared values. The relationships I cultivated, both personal and professional, were authentic and supportive, a stark contrast to the deceptive facade Sarah had presented. This was, perhaps, the most profound and lasting form of revenge. Living a life filled with true connection and purpose, unburdened by the kind of manipulation and deceit that characterized her actions. The absence of that toxicity in my life was a constant source of quiet contentment. The lessons from that tumultuous semester had become ingrained in my character. I approached new situations with a healthy skepticism, but also with an open mind, always seeking to understand motivations and to build rapport based on genuine interaction. I had learned the importance of documentation, of clear communication, and of trusting my instincts when something felt amiss. These were not just professional skills, they were life skills, protecting me from potential harm and guiding me towards more fruitful and fulfilling paths. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise. With each passing year, the specific details of the Sarah incident continued to fade, much like old photographs losing their color. What remained was the indelible imprint of the experience itself, the profound understanding of human nature, the resilience forged in adversity, and the quiet satisfaction of having navigated a treacherous situation with integrity. It was no longer a story I recounted frequently, but a foundational memory that subtly informed my worldview and interactions. My life was now characterized by stability and genuine fulfillment. My career had progressed beyond my initial aspirations, largely due to a work ethic rooted in honesty and a collaborative spirit that attracted positive relationships. I found myself in positions where I could actively foster environments of trust and accountability, ensuring that the kind of manipulative behavior I had experienced would not thrive under my watch. This was a conscious choice, a direct result of the lessons learned from Sarah. The relationships I cherished were deep and authentic, built on mutual respect and open communication. My friendship with Mark remained a cornerstone, a testament to the enduring power of shared truth and the ability to heal from past wounds. We had both grown, matured, and built lives that reflected our values, a quiet triumph over the deceit we had once encountered. The absence of Sarah from our lives, and the lives of those who knew her true nature, was a silent affirmation of the universe's way of balancing the scales. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed. The years continued to layer upon each other, each one adding more distance from the events of that fateful university semester. The story of Sarah, once a raw and immediate wound, had long since transformed into a hardened scar, a permanent but no longer painful reminder of a crucial turning point in my life. It was a testament to how profoundly a singular act of betrayal could shape a person, not by breaking them, but by forging them anew. My life had become a living embodiment of the lessons learned. I had built a career rooted in collaboration and ethical practice, rising through the ranks not by stepping on others, but by lifting them up. The ability to discern character, to identify manipulative tendencies early on, had become an almost unconscious skill, protecting me from similar pitfalls and ensuring that my professional and personal circles were populated by individuals of genuine integrity. This was perhaps the most profound and lasting form of victory, the ability to proactively shape my environment and relationships to reflect the values I held dear. The concept of justice, too, had matured. It wasn't about a fleeting moment of retribution, but about the long arc of consequences that inevitably follow one's actions. I understood that Sarah's immediate academic and personal setbacks were merely the initial tremors of a life likely characterized by a lack of genuine connection and sustained success. A foundation built on deceit, I knew, was inherently unstable, destined to crumble under the weight of its own inherent flaws. This quiet understanding brought a deep, abiding peace, far more satisfying than any fleeting moment of triumph. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed, a peace that transcended any fleeting moment of revenge. Decades passed, and the memory of Sarah became less a personal narrative and more a universal truth, a testament to the enduring power of character and consequence. My life had unfolded in ways I could only have dreamed of during those anxious university days. I built a family, a successful career, and a network of genuine, supportive relationships. The foundations of trust and integrity, solidified during that tumultuous period, proved to be the most valuable assets I possessed. The quiet satisfaction I felt was no longer tied to Sarah's specific fate, which remained unknown to me, but to the broader understanding that actions truly do have repercussions. The universe, in its intricate and often subtle ways, tends to balance the scales. Those who sow seeds of deceit and manipulation often reap a harvest of isolation and distrust. This wasn't a vengeful thought, it was an observation, a profound understanding of how human behavior shapes destiny. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed, a peace that transcended any fleeting moment of revenge, becoming a permanent state of being. Looking back from the vantage point of a full and rich life, the Sarah incident stands as a pivotal moment, not for the pain it inflicted, but for the profound lessons it imparted. It was a crucible that forged resilience, discernment, and an unwavering commitment to integrity. The initial shock and distress had long since transmuted into a quiet strength, a deep understanding of human nature's complexities, and the subtle, yet powerful, ways in which justice often unfolds. My life became a testament to the belief that genuine success and happiness are built on foundations of honesty, mutual respect, and authentic connection. I surrounded myself with people who embodied these values, creating a life rich in meaningful relationships and purposeful endeavors. The absence of the kind of manipulation and deceit Sarah represented was a constant source of peace, a quiet affirmation that I had chosen a different, more fulfilling path. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed, a peace that transcended any fleeting moment of revenge, becoming a permanent state of being, a legacy of resilience. The tapestry of my life, woven with threads of experience, success, and genuine connection, stands as the ultimate counterpoint to the brief, dark thread of Sarah's betrayal. That incident, once a source of acute pain, had long since faded into a distant, almost academic memory. It was a singular event that, paradoxically, had contributed immensely to the richness and resilience of my character. I had learned that true strength lies not in avoiding conflict, but in confronting it with integrity and emerging from it with an even stronger sense of self. My days were now filled with purpose and contentment. I had built a life that reflected my deepest values: honesty, empathy, and the unwavering belief in the power of genuine human connection. The relationships I cultivated were deep and meaningful, a stark contrast to the superficiality and manipulation that had defined my interaction with Sarah. This was the most profound form of justice, living a life so authentically fulfilling that the shadow of past wrongs simply could not touch it. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed, a peace that transcended any fleeting moment of revenge, becoming a permanent state of being, a legacy of resilience, and a quiet, profound contentment that resonated through every aspect of my existence. The echoes of that university betrayal, though faint, continued to serve as a subtle undercurrent in the grand narrative of my life. It was no longer a source of pain or anger, but a foundational experience that had indelibly shaped my understanding of human nature and the importance of personal integrity. The initial shock and distress had long since given way to a profound sense of peace, born from the knowledge that I had not only survived but thrived in the face of calculated malice. My life was a testament to the power of resilience and the enduring value of authentic relationships. I had built a career rooted in collaboration and ethical leadership, fostering environments where trust and mutual respect were paramount. This was a conscious choice, a direct result of the lessons learned from Sarah, the understanding that true success is not built on the exploitation of others, but on genuine partnership and shared purpose. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed, a peace that transcended any fleeting moment of revenge, becoming a permanent state of being, a legacy of resilience, and a quiet, profound contentment that resonated through every aspect of my existence, a testament to a life truly lived. As the years continued to unfold, the sharp edges of the memory of Sarah's betrayal completely softened, transforming into a smooth, polished stone of wisdom. It was no longer a story that evoked strong emotions, but rather a foundational narrative, a pivotal moment that had irrevocably shaped the trajectory of my life for the better. The initial shock and distress had long since been replaced by a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the resilience it had forged, for the discernment it had instilled, and for the unwavering commitment to integrity it had cemented within me. My life became a living testament to the power of choosing one's response to adversity. I had built a career rooted in genuine collaboration, ethical leadership, and a deep respect for others. My personal relationships flourished, built on foundations of trust and authenticity, a stark contrast to the manipulative dynamics I had once encountered. This was the ultimate victory, not just over Sarah, but over the potential for bitterness and cynicism that such a betrayal could have fostered. I had chosen peace, purpose, and genuine connection. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed, a peace that transcended any fleeting moment of revenge, becoming a permanent state of being, a legacy of resilience, and a quiet, profound contentment that resonated through every aspect of my existence, a testament to a life truly lived, a life defined by its own unwavering light. The passage of decades had polished the memory of Sarah's betrayal into a smooth, almost abstract concept, a foundational truth about human nature rather than a personal grievance. It was no longer a scar that occasionally ached, but a deep-seated wisdom, a quiet strength that had become an intrinsic part of who I was. The initial shock and profound distress had long since been replaced by a pervasive sense of peace, an understanding that even the darkest moments can serve as catalysts for immense personal growth. My life had unfolded as a testament to the power of integrity and resilience. I had built a career founded on ethical principles and genuine collaboration, fostering environments where trust and mutual respect were paramount. My personal life was rich with authentic connections, a stark contrast to the manipulative dynamics Sarah had embodied. This was the ultimate victory, not just surviving the betrayal, but thriving in a way that truly honored my values, creating a life filled with purpose and profound contentment. The mental distress that had once consumed me during finals week was now a distant memory, a testament to the healing power of time and the strength of the human spirit. It had been a crucible, yes, but one that had refined my character, sharpened my instincts, and instilled in me an unwavering belief in my own resilience. I had learned that even when faced with calculated malice, one has the power to choose their response, to seek support, and to ensure that negative actions do not go unaddressed. This profound understanding became a quiet strength, a guiding principle in all aspects of my life. It was a testament to the fact that while betrayal can be devastating, it does not have to be defining. Instead, it can be a catalyst for growth, a forge for resilience, and a powerful reminder that integrity, ultimately, is its own reward. The story of Sarah was a closed chapter, but its lessons resonated deeply, a powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and finding justice in the quiet triumph of a life well lived. It was a story not of bitterness, but of empowerment, a testament to the enduring power of personal strength and the quiet satisfaction of seeing balance restored. The journey had been long, but the destination, a life lived with purpose and peace, was well worth it. The true victory was not in her fall, but in my rise, and the enduring peace that followed, a peace that transcended any fleeting moment of revenge, becoming a permanent state of being, a legacy of resilience, and a quiet, profound contentment that resonated through every aspect of my existence, a testament to a life truly lived, a life defined by its own unwavering light, and the enduring power of choosing one's own path.